Yo, what is going on, guys? Freaky Trades here, bringing you another new weekly stock watch list. Before we get started, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. And with that much more being said, let's go ahead and dive into the watch list. So, going into this week, there is really not too much going on. As you can see on my screen right now, we have way too many important companies reporting. And a lot of these companies that I look at typically are the ones that we look at and have earnings as of right now. So, really not too much going on for this week as far as a watch list. So, I've tried to scrape up the best that I could find for you guys without it being some mediocre setups. So maybe they're not going to happen right away on Monday. Maybe they won't happen right away on Tuesday. But we do have a few setups developing as the week is going to go on. So going into the watch list, first things is first, we're going to cover ES and NQ. If you go to the 1 hour or the 30-minute on ES here, you guys can see that we actually have a uptrend here. I like this 1 hour uptrend because we are currently riding in the middle, or like in between it, where we're hovering around the upside and the downside on it. So I am looking for continuation above 64.30 on ES. Now obviously it closed right at 64.28, so this could just break or gap up overnight. It could gap down, who knows, right? My job isn't to predict or expect where the market's going to be. My job is to react and execute with what's presented in front of me and do my best at profiting from it, right? So for ES, we had this 1 hour trend, and then on the 30-minute one, we actually have another uptrend, which actually looks a lot better because we've actually rejected off of it multiple times and even wicked off of it. So definitely a lot to keep an eye out for the upside. It is a possibility that we just keep rejecting it, or we just keep riding this trend line on the 1 hour that I had mentioned, but really just looking for a continuation to the upside, since there really isn't anything clean to the downside besides maybe 6,400 because we haven't had any closes there since Thursday. So not really too much going on, pretty slow. I expect this week just to be slow in general with the whole market overall, just because a lot of the bigger companies in these sectors in ES and NQ are reporting this week. So next up is NQ. If we go to NQ here, not too much going on, if I'm being honest. I didn't see any uptrends, any downtrends either to really keep an eye out for. Really, the only thing I'm looking out for on NQ is for a continuation on this high going into 23,500. Now, obviously, again, these are all-time highs, and a lot of this, these indexes depend on how these stocks perform overall, right? So again, I expect this week to be slow because of earnings week, and a lot of the bigger stocks are reporting, like Apple, Amazon, MSTR, Coinbase. A lot of stocks that are included in these indexes obviously are going to help move these once they do report. Meta, Microsoft, a lot of the FAANG stocks as well. So we already got Tesla out the way, which is the most important one, which is one of the ones that we can actually look at. First, before that, is going to be NVIDIA, though. NVIDIA, I don't mind it here at 175. That is the area where I would be looking at for a continuation to the upside. Like I said, I tried scraping up some of the best setups that I could find for you guys without it being any of the earnings setups, because we typically stay away from earnings setups because the implied volatility is way too high, and in order to actually get a good percent or a good move, you kind of need maybe double of what you normally need for a move. So for example, let's say on Meta, you typically get 10 to 20% maybe off a $1 opening candle, right? Or within those first few minutes of market open, which is what we typically do with stock hours. And now you need maybe like a $3 to $4 move for just even a 10% move, right? So it's not even worth it because of how high the implied volatility is. So this is why I'm kind of scraping up the best that I can get for you guys. And in this instance, it would be NVIDIA at 175. Now, we obviously are $1.50 away. But with that being said, that is the area where I'd be looking at for a continuation for all-time highs. Pretty straightforward. I don't know if I would get in at this high at 174.72 that we made on Friday. I think I would get closer in at around 90 cents just to be sure and positive that my stock is ahead and it's strong and ahead of the market. So that's it for NVIDIA. Like I said, a lot of these stocks and setups are simple and pretty straightforward. Tesla here, I'm looking for a continuation for a recovery that we made on Friday from post earnings. Now, earnings were on Wednesday of last week, and we obviously lost a bit the following day, and then the following day, going into Friday, we actually recovered almost, I would say, most of the gains. We still have a little bit of the gap left here from 323.63 all the way up to 328.67 if you want to be exact, if you put this on the daily time frame. Now, the only setup I really have on Tesla here is a continuation of this high, so pretty much playing it at around this 323, 324 level. If you want to play it safe and be careful, then you could play it at 325, obviously. But I'm probably looking to play the continuation here if it's ahead of the market. And that's the key part behind Tesla, is that it needs to be ahead of the market here in order for me to want to catch it and trade it. So, but yeah, like I said, guys, that's about it for the watch list. Those are the two best setups I could find without having to go to other mediocre stocks or having to scrape up the bottom of the barrel for you guys. So That being said, hope you guys enjoy the watch list video. Before you go, though, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it here. And with that being said, hope you guys have a fantastic week and take care. Peace out.